look at this video. It caught my eye today, and I thought, I can't let my show go by without showing it to you guys at home. Watch. Look at this. I'll describe it on the radio. I'll describe it if you're listening on the radio. So it's a shop. You've got a gang of masked, hooded men, and they go into this shop like they own the place. They jump over the counter, and you won't believe it if you're listening on the radio when I tell you what they brought with them. They have brought with them a wheelie bin. Yes, you heard that right, a blue one, which I think is glass recycling, so at least they've got the right kind of wheelie bin, because they then proceed to fill it with booze, with cigarettes, with anything they quite frankly feel like taking, and off they wheel it. They've got machetes in their hand, and it blew me away, Aaron Bastani. I think, how brazen must you be? I mean, look at him, he's got a machete at the size of I don't know what in his arm, but how brazen must you be to know, you know what, I can do this, I can just do this and get away with it?
Yeah. So far. They might yet get caught.
But I can't even. Maybe I'm just getting old, Quentin. But it never used to be like this.
It never used to be. You're correct. You're correct there, Michelle.
Wheelie bins behind counters, machetes.
Yeah, brazen. Absolutely, taking the mick and, you know, let's hope they get caught.
I'm appalled, ladies and gents, by what society is becoming, honestly.
I should say, Michelle, and I agree with you, that isn't, you know, something we've seen for decades. But in the 80s and 90s, you did have lots of car radios being stolen, lots of handbags and cars being stolen. I remember being a primary school kid and my mum's bag being stolen twice in 1 year. So theft isn't new, but I agree with you. The scale of that and the fact they're taking their time,
brazenness,
rushing.
I pinched a lettuce by mistake the other day.
Excuse me?
I pinched a lettuce by mistake. I realised when I got to my car that I had neglected a lettuce at the bottom of my push trolley.
And then did you go back and pay for said lettuce?
I didn't.
Did you put some fake eyes on it and pretend it was Liz Truss and start stroking it? What did you do with the lettuce?
I just stuck it in my car. I suppose I should have fessed up, but I mean...
I think you just admitted to criminal behaviour live on national television.
Well, it was inadvertent.
That could have been an Anthony Worrell-Thompson moment, you know.
Well, what do you think?
No, I'd been at a till. I'd been at a till with
They'll have you on film, Quentin. They'll have you on film. You mentioned about how it used to be, actually, and I've just reminded myself of another incident many years ago. One of my little brothers in Hull was in a car accident, and he got wedged. This is a true story, everybody. He got wedged in the back of a car. The car was wrapped round a tree.
Wow. Somebody
stole the car radio, as you say, but also, no word of a lie, stole the trainers off my brother.
Wow.
So my brother was trapped in the car and they stole the trainers off him before the ambulance got there.
Vultures.
It is, I'd forgotten about that. How revolting. So maybe society has been like this for quite some time. Ugh. Anyway, look, before I set myself up for having a heart attack or whatever, let me talk to you about pensions, because the Treasury now expects the new full state pension to rise by £400 a year in real cash terms. Of course, it's been boosted again above inflation. Right, I'm going to cut to the chase and I'll return to this topic after the break, don't worry. Triple lock, is it still affordable? Should it still be in place? Continue, your thoughts?
I would love it to continue. I don't think it's affordable.
Aaron Bastani?
Michelle, I love being popular with the audience, but I'm not going to do it here. He's absolutely right. We need to get rid of it.
I don't think it will be got rid of either, because I think it's politically impossible to dismantle it.
But when we say it's not affordable, I mean, I get a little bit frustrated by what we deem to be affordable these days, where we deem our priorities to be. Because we always want people to be decent citizens, contribute into the pot of society, try and kind of provide for themselves, whatever. And I don't like pensions being referred to as a benefit, because it's not a benefit. It's something that people are entitled to, especially having paid into the system.
OK, let me rephrase it. It is not affordable while we are giving so much away in foreign aid.
Well, it's not affordable while we're doing an awful lot
or keeping within current budgets. But I would have thought that if you asked the public, is it more important to have decent pensions or to give money away in foreign aid, I'd have thought they might say that pensions are more important. That's where I would make a choice.
So reprioritisation of funds. Your thoughts?
Well, with demographic ageing, we are literally not getting any younger as a country. You have something called the dependency ratio, which is the number of people in work and out of work. That generally refers to older people. There's obviously fewer and fewer babies. It is simply not affordable. And I think you can index pensions to wages. That's quite nice. You can index it to inflation. You could even index it to both. But this this triple aspect to it of the 2.5% as well. What that meant was basically throughout the 2010s, when you had low inflation and low wage growth, pensions just went up by 2.5%. So I think you have to change something. It could be a double lock. I personally think it should be indexed to inflation.
Liz has got in touch saying, oh, here we go, people saying that the state pension is unaffordable. Basically, she says she has such a low pension, it's most difficult, she says, to live on. She starts telling me about pensions in Spain as well and how much they are. She says chance would be a fine thing. I've worked and paid national insurance for 44 years, says Sandra. I want the triple lock to be protected at all costs, not just for those pensioners now, but for all future pensioners. And that's one of the things that people do forget. It's all well and good being a young whippersnapper, saying things like, get rid of the triple lock, but you one day, my friend, and it'll go so fast in the blink of an eye, you will be that pensioner of
6 years'
tomorrow.
time, 5 years'
Be
time.
careful what you wish for. Look, who's...
I declare an interest.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
No, not you.
Me. I was going to say I'm not that old.
You've got 30 more years.
Yeah, well, I've got, a few. Former Cabinet Minister Priti Patel, she has been given the old heave-ho out of the next Tory leadership race. I try very hard to be interested in this topic because I do think it's important who's going to lead the opposition.
It's nominally important, but in likelihood, the person who becomes Tory leader won't become the next Prime Minister. It's likely to be that they're in opposition for 10 years, and so it is officially important, yeah. Were we surprised that Priti Patel went out? I don't know.
I was.
I thought Mel Stride, who's a complete unknown person to most of the public, I thought he would go out instead. But Priti, although actually I try not to meet politicians, but I have met Priti Patel, and I find her absolutely charming one-to-one. But she's never been able to build up much in the way of support for her leadership aspirations among the Tory MPs. And these are the people who are voting at the moment, and they plainly didn't go for her. So she's out.
Well, just to give you the contrast there, Priti Patel was at the bottom. She got 14. Robert Jenrick at the top got 28. So that's the difference in scale there. Aaron Bastani?
I'm curious, is Kemi going to make the final two, Quentin? Because my very glacial understanding of these things is that she underwhelmed on that first round, but I don't know anything about this since I'm asking you.
Well, there are so few of the Tory MPs that the figures are pathetic, aren't they? But I think, yes, she may have underwhelmed. I think she probably will make the last two because I think she's got a certain cut through. But, they're all fairly minor characters at the moment. There's certainly room for them to become better known.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of viewers won't be able to pick some of these people out in a lineup, quite frankly. I find it
But the same would have been said about Sir Keir Starmer.
True.
2 years ago.
I find it interesting, though, the certainty in which you predict that Labour essentially are going to definitely get another term.
Well, I think that's the likelihood.
Do you?
Yeah, definitely. With a 180-seat majority, I think it's most unlikely that the Conservatives will win. But, it's possible. Of course it's possible. But, blimey, it's a heck of an Everest that they're looking at.
What do you think? Do you think it is quite a certainty we've got a two-term Labour government?
From two-tier to two-term Keir. There was a poll a few days ago.
Got all the puns coming out.
I should work for you. We saw a poll recently which had Labour on 30%, the Tories on 26%, so the Tories bumping up a bit, Labour down a bit, but it still gave Labour a majority of something like 60%, and that is the political reality of the situation. The Lib Dems have eaten, I think, quasi-permanently into a big chunk of the Tory vote in the south. You have Reform still fundamentally hurting the Tories more than Labour. Of course, that can change. So, yeah, I mean, that's still a bad result to form a government on 30%, but it would still mean Labour have a majority of 60.
But it's impossible to talk about. We're only 2 months into a new government.
Hang on, it was you that was talking about it. With certainty.
Well,
Don't tell me it's
because I was
impossible
asked
to talk about it when
I'm
you brought it
obedient.
up.
I just do what I'm told.
Look, Paula's been in touch. She says, categorically, Labour will not be in power for 10 years either. She does not agree, she says, with your guest, Phil. He's been in touch on Twitter. He says, Michelle, getting rid of Priti Patel basically shows that the Tories are going down the same path path as they've previously gone down before, and that they haven't learned anything, he says, from their embarrassing general election defeat. The members should have voted almost instantly, I think he reckons. JT says pensions. What about all the people who have chosen salary sacrifice to focus on things like private pensions? Are they going to be the ones to get criticised and punished next? Many people criticising the priorities of anyone that would try and slash any spending, it seems like, towards pensioners, whilst we are spending eye-watering sums pretty much everywhere else.
I mean, the danger for Labour, Michelle, is it not?
You're going to have to tell me the danger for Labour a bit later on, because look at the time, it flies.
Oh,